A difficult start to the week for the Drake Bulldogs of the conference season when they lost their first two outings by a total of 7 points. Coach, 7 points could have turned it around. Now, here's the tough question for you. You lose at home to Illinois State by 4, a game that most people think you should win. Now you go over to Creighton, one of the teams that everybody thinks on their home floor they're almost invincible, and you almost beat them. Which is a tougher loss for you?
I would say the Illinois State game is probably the toughest one because, like you said, it's a game we should have won, and it was on our home court. And I think that makes it a little bit worse. And the Creighton game, it was there. We had opportunities. We didn't pull it out. And so it's frustrating. It was a frustrating loss. But the Illinois State one was really one that, you know, it should have been. Even without Julie Rickers, we should have won that basketball game. And in that game, we had opportunities as well. You
described that one as a nightmare, was it?
It really was. You know, it was like just nothing would go our way in that basketball game. You know, it just seemed like every time the ball went out of bounds, it was Illinois State's basketball. You know, we had 2 of our typical starters score 0 points in that basketball game. It was a game that really nothing was going our way.
Let's go to the standings. Coaches really make a living from turning negatives into positives. You'll take a look at the league standings. You're 0-2, and that's, of course, not good. What's the positive aspect of this? What are you telling your team about it?
Well, the one thing is now we go into a really tough part of our season, going to have to play on the road against Southern Illinois and Indiana State. The thing about it is, get them out of your way, and then in February we're at home a lot, and that will be nice. I think during that February stretch when we're playing strong, we'll be at home, and that's definitely got to be to our advantage. We've already played one of the league leaders, Creighton. Yeah, we're 0-2, but we have lost to one of the top teams in the conference. So we just need to get that Illinois State game somewhere. We need to get that game back.
How about the team now? How do you feel about the team after these 2 conference losses at the start of things?
Well, I think they bounced back extremely well against Missouri, Kansas City. Again, we were on the road. It's kind of funny. We seem to play better on the road than we do at home right now, which is very unusual. So maybe it's a good thing we're going on the road this week. But they bounced back. Everybody played well. Everybody contributed in that UMKC game. So I think we're back in the winning track right now. It's just unfortunate that we have to go play at a tough Southern Illinois home court.
Was it good to have that non-conference game after you started your conference season?
It was, and usually I'm not a believer of having non-conference games in the middle of your conference season. I like to, once you get into conference, it's conference play and not have to worry about anybody else. It made it a little bit easier for preparation since we'd already played them before. And so I think that was to our advantage. But it was good because now we got that win. I think we feel a little more confident, especially going on the road.
Painful though it may be to do, we're going to take a look at the highlights and maybe some of the lowlights of those games last week right after this.
We're studying Robert's delicious-tasting orange juice. If you will divert your eyes upwards, you can see the Robert's juice cows sunning themselves in the trees above. Ripe from the pasture sun, the juice cow gingerly prepares for her dismount. Double backflip with a twisting 2.5 degree of difficulty. And squeezing. The subsequent juices rush to your process to ensure its fresh taste. In fact, the only way to get fresher juice than that is to come to the Robert's pasture. Robert, and wait under a tree.
How do you make it taste so good?
Iowa was the pioneer in girls' athletics in the U.S., and over the years the program has grown from just basketball to include cross-country, volleyball, swimming and diving, track and field, golf, tennis, and softball, along with co-ed golf and tennis. The state basketball tournament, March 7th through the 12th, not only crowns champions in 5-player basketball, but also honors all the other champions in both individual and team sports. Plan to be there.
You recall we talked a week ago as the Bulldogs went into the conference play. They were in the midst of a winning streak, and everything just seemed to be right. Unfortunately, you can't figure on the flu bug. Julie Richter's got it. How much of an impact did that have?
I think it was a pretty big impact. You know, I hate to make excuses for why you lose, and I think we still should have won this game. I think we should have won this game with or without Julie Rickers, and so it's not an excuse for why we lost, but I do believe Julie's our leading scorer. She's our leading three-point threat on our basketball team, and she's a leader. She's one of our captains as voted by her peers, and I think people respect her leadership out on the basketball floor. And we look for her in tight situations, which Illinois State was. So definitely we missed her abilities on the floor, but I still think it's a game we should have won.
Okay, let's go to the tape and get a look at the Illinois State game played last Tuesday night, opener of the conference season. You like to open on your home floor against the team again. You really thought you had every chance of beating, but it just wasn't there.
You know, this is the first time in 4 years we've opened up at home, and really we didn't use it to our advantage. I guess one of the most disappointing things in this basketball game is we came into this game as the 16th best rebounding team in the country, and we let Illinois State out-rebound us 34-27. And that was very frustrating for me because it's something that we really stress, and I think it lost us this basketball game. It was one of the things that really hurt us.
Because poor Jill Yukon couldn't contribute. Only 8 minutes and 5 fouls. How can that be?
You know, she gets called for some fouls. Sometimes you feel like they pick on the big person out there. You know, they feel sorry for the little guy. And with Jill, it seems like it happens so much because it feels like she's standing straight up. And just because the girl shoots the basketball, it seems like there has to be a call made when there doesn't need to be. And that really frustrates me, and I feel really bad for Jill. And when she contributes 0 points and 1 rebound, with Julie, combine that with Julie Rickers being out, that hurt.
And since we're only talking about a 4-point margin, obviously, there's some points right there.
Absolutely. Tricia Wakely, though, did respond with a good game. She had 20 points and 11 rebounds, but like we talked about in practice, she let up a lot of baskets inside defensively. Their center comes through with 19 points, and she's only averaging 8 coming into this game. So that hurt us. And as you can see, them tripling down on Tricia, for her and Christy Kinney both to come up with 20 points still, despite being triple teamed in the post, is really amazing. There you see a nice feed. I think Dia fed her right there, and a good drop step to the basket by Tricia.
Saw Cheyenne Palmer a moment ago. She will be one of our 2 guests a little bit later on in the show.
Tricia again with a nice basket and a feed by Nicole Hennigan after just a simple screen roll play. It was just a situation where we just had just a little bit too little too late in this game. There were so many chances at the end that we had to win this basketball game, and we just couldn't take advantage of it. And that's frustrating, again, on your home court. Boy, it looks like the Tricia Wakely show going on right now.
You know, you'd think she wound up with 40 based on what we've seen. She did wind up with 20, not bad. 6 of 9, 8 of 10 from the free throw line, but not the 40 the highlights make it look like.
That's right. There's Christy Kinney with a tough shot. She ended up with 20 also. Christy Kinney was 9 for 13 from the field and 6 boards in this basketball game. Tricia has the ability to score a lot from the free throw line. She's really, she for some reason draws fouls extremely well inside. She's sometimes ends up on the floor, and we wish she would have converted the 3-point play instead of the 2-point play, but she's very good at drawing the foul and going to the free throw line.
As she matures and gains strength, is that something that will happen? She'll continue and get those baskets?
I hope so. It's something we talk about a lot. We really need the 3-point shot out of her because, she can go to the free throw. She's a great free throw shooter. If she could just convert those, we would be doing much better, and that helps us get back into a game when you're down. Dia with the steal. Gets the layup off the steal. Nice to see that good defense. Again, hopefully defense is creating the offense for us a little bit.
Did force 33 turnovers in this game.
Isn't that amazing? 33 turnovers, and we still lose this basketball game. I go back to the rebounding quite a bit. We just weren't able. We shot the ball well, 46%. But the thing is, Illinois shot the ball well, too. This is a team that comes in shooting 37% and shoots 61%. But some of that, I have to say, defensively, we didn't give our best performance this night at all. They were getting layups. They were getting high percentage shots inside. So teams, when they get those type of percentage shots, should be scoring 60%, or should be shooting 60%.
Is it possible the Redbirds are better than people think they are?
Oh, I think they are. And Coach Hutchinson is an excellent coach. There's no doubt about it. They're a better basketball team than people give them credit for. They've got a great inside game. I think Arby is a very, very nice player. Avery, very nice player inside. She hurt us in this basketball game. Boy, I tell you, after this game, they celebrated like they won the national championship. They needed this win more probably than we did, and it showed on the floor.
It's always a good rivalry between those two schools, though.
A very good rivalry. We just are, I think, very glad to have the opportunity to play them again.
Now, what do you think of the Exarban Arena?
I don't like it. Don't like it much at all. I tell you, the last 2 years we've had to play in this gym, Exarban, and it's their second facility. They usually play in the Civic Center, and very rarely do they play in Exarban, and we've had to play there. But both years we've played well, so maybe I shouldn't complain, but boy, what a dark, cold facility this is.
But you really did heat it up with some excellent basketball against a team expected to do very well in the league.
You know, this is we outshot them. We had more field goals, more 3 points made. We tied them in rebounds in this basketball game. The thing is they had 10 more free throws. They made 10 more free throws than we did. They shot 11 more, made 10 more, and that makes it for a tough, you know, 10 points right there, a deficit is tough to come back from.
Julie Richter is still foul or flu-ridden in this ball game, wound up 1 of 9 shooting 2 points.
1 of 9, but then you see right there a nice assist by her. She penetrated, saw the open person, hit Kristen Lynch for the shot. Kristen Lynch hit some big buckets in this game for us as well. Cheyenne Palmer had a real nice game. There you see her coming up with the bucket. She was 4 for 7, had 14 points and 7 rebounds, both of those career highs. So a nice performance by Cheyenne. Nice dish there by Christy Kinney over to Tricia Wakely. Those assists are so important. And Christy Kinney ended up with 6 assists that night. And so you can see she was really looking for the open person.
In fact, the Kinney-Wakely duo had a total of 20 points and 19 rebounds between the two of them.
They've, you know, both players are playing very well. And this was a game that they weren't being double and triple teamed like Illinois State. So for them, it felt probably like, you know, this was amazing for them to have the wide open or one-on-one opportunity.
And then on Sunday, you blow out Missouri, Kansas City by 22.
That was nice because all of our players got to play and they all scored, which is very unusual, you know, when you have 15 people on your bench. Also it was nice in this game, our, you know, second and third string, I hate to call them that, but, you know, your reserves that are going in are playing against their best players because they only have 8 people on this UMKC team, and we continued to build on the score, where the last time we played them when we subbed, they started coming back into this game. So our subs were playing against their first team and beating them, and that's encouraging to see.
Quick look at our trivia contest, and then we will go on to our guests, which are Cheyenne Palmer and Stacy Laven, but let's talk about last week's.
Last week, the question was, who is the single-season free throw percentage leader? And our winner is Mark Welton. So Mark Welton will be receiving the prize. The correct answer was Connie Newland.
She could hit him. What about this week?
This week, our question is, who is the all-time career steal leader for Drake women's basketball? Maybe somebody you wouldn't maybe think of.
It goes back a ways.
It goes back a ways. And this is somebody that even our team may see. We see quite often, as a matter of fact. Our team does. So,
she's still around, yes. May not be around Drake, but she's still around.
That's right. The all-time career steal leader.
I think that's enough of a hint. What do you think?
I think so.
Okay, and some great prizes if you can come up with the answer. So you saw the address, send in your entry, and we'll give you the answer next week. Back with our guest right after this.
We're expecting company, yours. When friends or family visit, make the Drake Inn your guest room. Located next to Drake University, our friendly service and attention to detail will make your guests feel at home. We're expecting your company, too, with 2 executive boardrooms and meeting and room rates that will appeal to your business sense. When out-of-town clients, friends, or family arrive, remember, we're always expecting your company at the Drake Inn.
March in Iowa is just around the corner, and that's Iowa Girls High School State Basketball Tournament time. For 1994, the state championships run from March 7th through the 12th, with the winners crowned on Saturday night, March 12th. Tickets are available through the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union, Post Office Box 10348 in Des Moines, 50306. It's a great weekend of basketball and other entertainment. Plan to attend.
You can't buy trust. You earn it. You can't buy peace of mind. You give it. You can't buy experience. You get it. Buying an appliance is an investment you depend on every day. And that's why quality brand names, dependable service, and fast expert delivery and setup are important. And why O'Callahan's has been setting the standard in customer service and satisfaction for over 50 years. You're in good hands with O'Callahan's. We strive to be the best.
Cheyenne Palmer and Stacy Laven joined us for this segment of the show. And strangely enough, the starting guard duo in the Bulldogs' last game. Now, you played together a couple of years. Did you ever think this was going to happen, that you'd start together?
I didn't really plan on it. I never really saw it coming, actually, but I thought we played pretty well together as far as that goes.
Well, you got to look at the result, and I guess you did. Let's talk about the start of the conference season, though, Cheyenne. Obviously, you had great expectations, and now you're 0-2. How do you look at the conference race?
I think we still have great expectations. The Illinois State loss hurt a great deal, but the Creighton game is not a game you would count on. You hope you're going to win it, but it's not. When you look down, you don't expect to beat Creighton at Creighton. And I think we had to be happy with our showing there. Obviously, you want the win. And we're still, you know, we still have a lot of games left. It's obviously just 2 games into the season. We still have a lot of expectations.
You know, coaches always say you take them one at a time. Do players really do that, or do you look ahead?
I think there's some games where we've looked past our opponent, and that's what's got us into trouble. As far as Illinois State, maybe a few of us did possibly look on to our next opponent, which was Creighton. And there's a few things that brought us down. Of course, JRyr wasn't there. I mean, she was down with the flu. However, I think we still could have won that game with or without her.
You've got a trip coming up to Southern Illinois and to Indiana State. Now, since you've been there most, since you're the junior, let me ask you about your impressions of just playing at those 2 places.
Southern Illinois, definitely a place. I like the gym, actually. It's a nice place to play. However, it's always going to be tough on the road. Always, actually, we've had good, this season so far has been good on the road. I think we've been playing pretty well. With Creighton, we did lose, but we did give a good show there. And UMKC, everyone got to play. I think once we go into Southern Illinois and Indiana State, it's going to be something we're expected to play well, and I think we can do that.
Cheyenne, the Salukis really are a good ball team. They were last year. How do you look at them this year?
I think you look at them as a team with tradition, and anytime you're playing a team with tradition, it's going to be tough. They're always good, and they're always good at home, and we've got to go in there with a mindset that we're going to win.
Other than being starting guards, something that you both have in common is almost twice as many minutes as you were seeing a season ago. Stacy, first of all, let's talk about you. Why more minutes? What's led to that?
Well, I think I came out this year. Well, maybe I should go back to this. When I came in my freshman year, I was playing 2 sports. And I went in and talked to Coach Bluder, and we came down to the decision that I think it would be best if I just concentrated on one sport. And I think it's paid off in the long run. I've definitely increased my time, but I think my commitment and dedication to the sport of basketball itself. I've worked very hard over the summer and throughout the year in practice. I think a lot of times it'll be, I take a lot of time in practice and put a lot of pressure on Julie. Because I know Julie, it's best if, say that I don't get as much time as I want, it's best if I work Julie and the rest of the guards just as hard. And I think the coaches have definitely seen that and my improvement.
Now, speaking about minutes, there's always been a spirited point guard battle. It really started last year between you and Dia Payton. And how do you handle that, the fact that every day you're kind of battling for minutes?
Well, through the course of last year, Dia and I became very close. Just, you know, we live next to each other and whatnot, and we spent a lot of time together. And I think the way we look at it is not a battle between the 2 of us. It's a battle against yourself to do the best that I can do every single game. And then Coach Bluder is going to make the final decision. And it's really no reflection of me, you know, it's my playing. And if Dia plays ahead of me, you know, that's a reflection of me and that I didn't get the job done. So that's how we try to look at it, I think.
Let's talk about Cheyenne versus Cheyenne. Compare your game now to a year ago at this time.
I would have to say the biggest difference in my game is my my physical fitness, I guess is what you would say. I've dropped some weight, I've gained some quickness, and that's helped in my mindset. And I'm a much more confident basketball player now, and I think that's the biggest difference.
Stacy, what about you now that you're focused on one sport? How would you compare your game to a year ago at this time?
I would definitely say that my mindset, being able to play, I was kind of a battle at the beginning of the year. I was kind of in that point guard position myself. But I think now I fit the role of being a 2 guard. I think finding that the key was finding what position I was going to play. And I'm very comfortable with playing the 2 guard now. And I've definitely have improved a lot.
And we talked about you starting, but basically you're playing behind one of the league's most talented players. Is that tough?
It is really tough. And like I said, if I have done my job correctly, I've worked Julie and the rest of the guards to their greatest potential as far as practice goes. And I know that the coaches are definitely looking at that when I am in practice or on the court and off the court, showing my responsibilities also as being a guard.
Well, that strikes me as having a great attitude. It strikes me as being extremely coachable. Do you consider yourself a coachable player?
I think I'm a coachable player. I definitely take what the coaches say into consideration. There are times where I'm down on myself and it looks like I don't want to listen to the coach, but I think deep down inside, their keys to what they're saying reflect a lot upon whereabouts I'm playing.
And Cheyenne, you always have struck me as a confident player. Where does that confidence come from?
I'm not exactly sure where it comes from. I guess probably it would go back to just my parents always telling me I could do whatever I put my mind to, so I always figure if that's what I'm going to do, that's what's going to get done.
And of course, your dad was once a football coach. Was it Cornell?
Yes. Yeah.
And that they always had that positive mindset. How has his being a coach helped you as a player?
It's helped me tremendously in the motivational aspect. He doesn't know the game of basketball, you know, as well as, say, football, but he knows how to motivate me and get into my psyche and make sure I do what I need to do to be the best I can be.
Taking a look at you as an individual, Stacy, somebody told me a story once about you actually, I don't know if you thought about it or actually did it, climbed in an airplane, like the baggage compartment and over an overhead cabinet. Is that true?
That is true, and Coach Bluder reminded me that on our last trip to UMKC. We stopped at the same restaurant that we'd ate at, and I got up in one of the compartments, and it was on one of our buses, and climbed up there and waited for Coach Bluder to come on the bus. I was up there forever, at least 20 minutes. And I ended up eating my meal up there also. Finally, Coach Fitz told her, she asked Coach Bluder if she would go up and get her coat for her because she was kind of cold. Get up there and they opened the cabinet and I was like, hi! Coach just, I mean, I don't know if she was scared or surprised or what. She just stood there. And everyone, she said that she knew something was going on because every time she looked back, everyone was laughing in the bus and then she'd look back and they were all straight-faced.
I want to know what your motivation was for doing something like that.
I guess I'm kind of the practical joker on the team. I had a couple good ones this weekend on Julie Rickers and Dia Payton, but I don't know. I guess that's my way of, I don't really know. It's part of me. My brothers always used to do it to me when I was younger, too, and I think that's where I've gotten it from.
That's understandable. What about you off the floor? Would you ever do something like that?
I don't think I'd be smart enough to come up with anything like that. Stacy's got the creativity. Maybe she thought of it and told me to do it, I'd do it, but I don't think I'd come up with it myself.
You've just completed a long road trip, and in college basketball, you're together so much. Did that add to team unity traveling like you did as long as you did?
I'm not sure added, because I'm not sure you can add to our team unity. I mean, it's something all teams say we're a family, but we are together all the time. I mean, my best friends are a basketball team. If I'm going to, go out to a movie after the game, we're going to go with other basketball players. And so it really wasn't that much different from our day-to-day life.
Stacy, that pay off in wins and losses, or wins in this case on the floor, do you think, that attitude?
I think so. I think our team is definitely a team. We think of the team concept, and it's one of our top goals to be a team on the court and off the court. I think it pays off when we can be best friends off the court and then play with each other.
Well, tough road trip coming up. Best of luck to both of you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to visit with Cheyenne Palmer and Stacy Laven, guards on the Bulldog basketball team. We'll take a look at that road trip with Coach Bluder right after this timeout.
March in Iowa is just around the corner, and that's Iowa Girls High School State Basketball Tournament time. For 1994, the state championships run from March 7th through the 12th, with the winners crowned on Saturday night, March 12th. Tickets are available through the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Post weekend of basketball and other entertainment. Plan to attend. Bluder would like to thank the following sponsors for supporting this year's women's basketball team.
two-game trip for the Drake Bulldogs starts on Thursday night at Southern Illinois. Coach, they're supposed to be down this year?
It's not the case. Southern Illinois was picked to finish 5th in the conference this year in our preseason poll, but this is a team, as you can see by the conference standings, they're 3rd. Very athletic basketball team. Have 2 tremendous posts inside. One was a transfer from Southwest Missouri State when they were in the Final Four, Anjanette Summerall, and then Rocky Ransom, tremendous players from St. Louis, and they have a great point guard, Nikki Gilmore, as well. So a team, the only weakness that we can see is that maybe a lack of outside shooting, but a great inside team and very athletic, can run the floor well, is pressing in the full court, something they've never done before. So a few changes for them has made them into actually a stronger basketball team.
Saturday, it's over to Indiana State for an afternoon game. What do you think about the Sycamores?
Well, Indiana State returns everybody from last year, including Hazel Olden, who was out the last 10 games of last year with a knee injury. She's an all-conference performer as a sophomore, just a tremendous point guard. They have 3 girls in their team averaging over 12 points a game. The other 2 are inside players, Con and Hester. Again, it's the same kind of setup as Southern Illinois, 2 tremendous posts and 1 outstanding point guard, and to have that inside-outside attack is always very valuable. Look at it as one of these that we can get back from that Illinois State game that we dropped.
We talked about the health of Julie Rickers, how important that is to your team. What do you know about her condition going into the week? Well,
Sunday at UMKC, she still was not to 100%, but she's getting better. I think by Thursday she'll be back up to par. You know, it's kind of a day-by-day performance that we have to evaluate her on.
How about everybody else, health and injury? Everybody okay?
Everybody's okay. You know, we've had no injuries this year, like severe injuries, and that's been a really nice atmosphere. I think that a large part of that is due to our strength and conditioning coach, Brad Flack.
Well, let's knock on wood just in case.
That's right, that's right.
And we'll see you right here next week on the Lisa Bluder Show.
Country.
The proud tradition of Drake women's basketball continues. This season marks 20 years of excellence. Coach Lisa Bluder and her 93-94 team are going for a record-breaking year.
Two weeks ago, the Drake Bulldogs came off a very successful road trip. They had a 5-game winning streak. They were starting conference play with great momentum. But as you know, the Bulldogs have struggled in league play with their start at 0-4. And, Coach, I know you never expected to be in this position.
No, absolutely not. You know, we had so much momentum going into conference. We really felt like it was a great time and a great opportunity to be heading into conference, and plus having our first game at home. But since then, we've been on the road, and it's always tougher to play on the road. You know, I look at this team and we're 0-4 in the conference, and yeah, we're disappointed in that, but I do think we have the best part of our schedule ahead.
So disappointed but not discouraged.
That's absolutely true.
Let's take a look at the standings first off to give you an idea of where the Bulldogs are shaping up as far as the league race goes. And I think the thing you will see is, as we talk about it, the fact that, yeah, you're at the bottom, but still plenty of opportunities. That's right. You know, we still have great opportunities to play at home. As you said earlier, we have 6 of the next 7 games that we're going to be playing in conference at home, and so that's going to be to a big advantage. I think we're a little road weary right now. We've been on the road so much, and it's also good for us, I think, to get back into school. You know, some teams probably don't like being into school, but for us, it's really a good opportunity for our kids to get back on schedule and be into school. For them, it sounds crazy, but for them, it's a big thing. Well, you know, you talk about routine, and that's always so important. Now, you take a look at what's happened in this 4-game losing streak. Can you pinpoint a couple of areas where you'd see it as problem areas? Absolutely. You know, I think Julie Rickers, we need to get her back on the offensive track. You know, she was our leading scorer going into conference, and now she's our 5th leading scorer within the conference play. So we definitely need to get her outside shooting attack. We're having trouble with offensive rebounding, and that's something we did such a good job in the pre-conference, was boxing out and not letting people have second opportunities to shoot the basketball. And right now, we're really getting hurt on the offensive boards, and we're turning the basketball over way too many times. Just not enough opportunities to shoot the basketball. We're shooting the basketball at a great percentage right now. We're just not getting enough opportunities to shoot it. And we'll see what Coach Bluder is talking about when we look at the tapes of the Southern Illinois game right after this.
studying Robert.
Pioneer and girls athletic.
Take you down to Carbondale to Southern Illinois last week, where the Drake Bulldogs went to a very tough place to play against a very good team and really played a whale of a ball game.
We did. You know, a 5-point loss there. In the past, we would have been happy with that, but we weren't this week because we had a 13-point lead going into the last 5.5 minutes of this basketball game, and really just let them hit the offensive boards. We were out rebounding them at halftime by 10 and only won by 1 in the rebounding war. So they out rebounded us by 9 in the second half. I think that hurt us.
Did they make some adjustments to rebound better, or did they just want it more?
I think they wanted a little bit more. They knew that they had to get the easy bucket to stay in the game, and they did it. They attacked the boards extremely well. And that definitely hurt us. Also, we weren't real patient working the basketball. In the first half, we were very patient, worked the basketball, got great shots. Our offense was working very well. In the second half, we weren't quite as patient and came down and took some shots that maybe we weren't real smart. And so I think that hurt us in the long run, too. You have to know where that clock is and who's winning the game when you're taking a smart shot selection.
We talked last week about Julie Richter's health and how it was continuing to get better after her epidemic of the flu. But basically, is she at 100% yet, or was she in this game?
You know, she had 11 points, was 3 for 5 from three-point range, but Julie's still not really clicking back into the lineup. And I think health-wise, she's back 100%, but I think it's a comfort level right now. She's still working on getting back, and it just takes Julie a long time to come back when she's been out. Hopefully, this week she'll be fine, but really, her physical being, she's back 100%. We just need to get her back in the basketball game and back confident shooting the basketball.
I look at the success that both Kinney and Wakely had on this last trip, and I say, well, now you've maybe got that best inside-outside attack you've had for a while.
Yeah, absolutely, if we can get Julie back. I think that's a key, but yeah, Christy Kinney had a tremendous game. I think this was the best game I've ever seen her play. 10 for 13 from the field for 24 points and 8 boards. And then Tricia Wakely comes up with 15 points also and 4 rebounds, so she had a nice game as well. Jill Euchen has been struggling a little bit. She had 8 points in the game, but, you know, we really need Jill, even if she's not a starter, we need that contribution because you need 3 solid starters in that post area because you're just going to run into foul trouble, especially on the road.
But again, you played such a good first half, and boy, at halftime you had to think, you know, we've got this team where we want them.
Absolutely, you know, 1 point up, which is amazing. You know, I couldn't believe walking in the locker room, we're actually a point up on the road against Southern, a team we respect immensely, and we really felt like we had things well in hand, especially in the first 10 minutes we came out, we played so well, and it was really Karen Powell did a tremendous job for them. 6 for 16 from three-point range in the in the game. She had 25 points. This is a girl that averages 9 points, ends up with 25, and she had 3 three-pointers in the last 5 minutes of the game.
You see if they are 7-point leads, so you're still in pretty good shape midway through the half? Absolutely, and I think we did an okay job in turnovers in this game. Actually, we only had 15. There's Christy Kinney showing a little emotion. It's kind of nice to see as she draws the three-point play inside. That was very, very important for us. But not enough. Really needed more outside attack and just hitting the boards a little bit better. And then Saturday was over to Indiana State in a 75-66 setback. One real key stat, 31 Bulldog turnovers. Incredible. You know, we come off playing Southern Illinois. We only have 15 turnovers and then 31 turnovers against Indiana State. Just not enough opportunities to shoot the ball. We shot the ball a great percentage, 44%, but then only 48 opportunities versus Indiana State had 69 opportunities to shoot the basketball. And I think you look at your turnovers, and that's what's causing that. Again, Christy Kinney had a great game, 8 for 12 for 21 points. And then Tricia Wakely also, you know, 16 points and 10 boards, had a great basketball game. We out-rebounded them 47-37, but offensively they had 22 offensive boards to our 16. And not looking for excuses, but in each game you committed 7 more fouls than the opposition did. Comments? Well, you know, we really, on the road you have to be prepared. I think you have to be prepared to how the officials are going to call them, and you have to adjust to that. The problem is it's really hurt us inside both times. Christy and Tricia are the two that have picked up the fouls and have had to sit down because of that. Those are people that have really been contributing and vital to our success. When they're on the bench with foul trouble, we're struggle. Certainly are. Now let's take a look at our contest, our trivia contest. We asked a question and we gave a real good hint last week about the all-time steal leader, Drake. A thing I think an answer was surprising people. That's right, because not really, you think of a guard a lot of times in steal leaders, but Kay Reek, the Indiana State head coach who played here in the early 80s, is the all-time steal leader at Drake. And Carly Williams,
Carly Wellman, from Des Moines is our winner. So we'll be getting off some great prizes, a Drake sweatshirt, 4 free tickets to a Drake women's basketball game, some movies from Movies to Go Video, a free haircut from Axis Salon, and we'll be getting all those prizes out to Carly.
That's probably the best prize package in coaches' shows on TV
I
today.
believe it is, Larry.
I think so. So how about the trivia question for this week?
That's right. We're going to talk about attendance. What will be the combined attendance for the next 2 home women's basketball games? You know, we haven't been at home for a while. Southwest Missouri State, the #1 team in our conference, coming in to play. They're the nation's leading attendance. They average 7,900 people at their home games. So we'd love to get a great crowd for that game when we play them Friday night. And then also Wichita we play on Sunday. Key games that would help us, you know, big fan support would help us get back on the winning track, which we need.
Sunday's an afternoon game.
It is Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock. It's also church night if you bring in, or church afternoon if you bring in your church bulletin. You can get in for $2 instead of $6 to the Drake women's game.
And come early because there's something going on before the games.
That's right. Before every men's and women's basketball game, the remaining of the year, the mainstay will be open for all Bulldog Scholarship people that are in the Bulldog Scholarship Fund. And with that, they can come in for an hour and a half before games. There's beverages available and also food available, so come on early and then get to the game on time.
Come in, park close, and have a good time. We'll have more on the Lisa Bluder Show right after this.
New segment, it's called Playing the Game, and Stacy Laven is the first hostess for us from our basketball team. So here's Stacy, along with a group of our other basketball players at Drake.
You may all know me from my former talk show, Studs. Today with me, I have a few of my studette teammates. Starting with Julie Rickers, better known as Rahita Fajita. Next to her is Kristen Lynch, known as Kristen Lynch. Next to me on the other side is Carol Maloney, known as the Lone Star, and Pam Schaffrath, known as, in practice, the Bruiser. Today we're here to talk a little bit about how important it is for dedication, attitude, commitment, and teamwork. To start off, I would like to ask Julie Rickers how important it is for dedication.
Dedication is key in being a basketball player. During the season, it's easy to be dedicated because the coaches tell you where to be and when to be there. But the key is dedication during the off season. None of the coaches are there to watch over you and tell you what to do, and it's your responsibility to get in the weight room and get on the track and get in the gym to do the things that you need to do to become the best basketball player you can become.
Very good, Julie. And along with dedication comes attitude. How about adding a little bit about attitude, Carol?
Well, it's important to have a good attitude. Everyone always says a good attitude in games, of course, but most importantly, it's vital to have a good attitude in practice. I think that everyone gets frustrated, and everyone can have a bad practice now and then. And one of my favorite quotes, though, is, the best thing to get off your chest is your chin. If you get frustrated and you have a bad practice, you can't have a bad attitude the next day. You just have to keep going every day, start over, and keep that good attitude all year. And that way you'll have a winning basketball experience.
Very good, Carol. I think with also having a good attitude comes commitment. Now, Kristen's going to talk a little bit about commitment and how important it involves dedication and attitude.
I think commitment goes along kind of with dedication, but a committed person is not only committed. I'm not only a committed athlete, I'm committed off the floor and on the floor. By that I mean, not only during the off season do I pick up the basketball and play and pick up games, do what I can to make my team better, but I am involved with social activities in college. I study a lot, I get good grades, but it's important to be committed on the floor and off the floor to be a great athlete and a great person.
Very well said, Kristen. And along with dedication, attitude, and commitment, altogether it wraps up teamwork. Pam, how do you feel teamwork is important to basketball?
I think the biggest key to a successful team and to win is teamwork. You can have 12 great athletes on the floor, 12 great athletes on the team, but if they don't work together, they're not going to win. But teamwork is a big sacrifice by everyone, and it takes a lot of time. But if you really want to be a successful team, you need teamwork.
Very good. Well, I thank all my studette teammates here that have helped me out today. And I hope all of you know how important it is for dedication, attitude, commitment, and teamwork to have a successful season. Thank you. Come and check us out at the Knapp Center.
We were a little off.
That's a fun feature, and we will look forward to more of those as the season progresses. But right now we have a very special guest. Though a first-year player, probably somebody that does not need a whole lot of introduction, Karen Schulte led Cedar Rapids Jefferson to the 2A championship in girls basketball last year. She was honored as Miss Iowa basketball. And Karen, I know that there are a lot of schools that would have liked to have you play for them. How'd you wind up picking Drake?
Well, basically what I was looking for is a school that could offer me both, you know, positives in the athletic, academic, and social part for me to grow as a person. And I fell in love with it when I came here to visit. Of course, the Knapp Center was a great, you know, I knew it'd be a great place to play, and the coaching staff and the team, and I just felt like this is where I belonged.
You grew up so close to Iowa. Did you have a thought about going there?
Well, not really. You know, I think I would have been all right there, but you know, I think that overall, it's just best that I came to Drake.
Now, of course, as a freshman, you're not getting a lot of minutes compared to in high school when you were on the floor virtually all the time. You have to take a role as a freshman. How are you adjusting to that?
You're right. It was like a little hard at first and everything, but I'm learning a lot, you know, sitting there and watching what needs to be going on. And when my chance comes, then I'll be ready, and I'll, you know, have learned enough from watching, and I'll be fine.
Coach, I know you have some questions for Karen.
Well, like you touched on, what are the biggest adjustments that you've had to make going from college basketball to, or from high school basketball to college basketball?
Basically the game itself, just you know, there's a lot of things that I thought I knew, but you know, there's so many more aspects, and just the physical play inside, with me being a, you know, inside player, it's quite a bit different. In high school, I was a lot taller than everybody else, and so I was able to get by without, you know, so much of the knocking around and stuff. And now it's like I get here and there's really strong girls, and I learned that I had to be more aggressive and more tough.
What about like the travel, and have you enjoyed we spent a lot of time on the road lately. That's quite a bit different from high school. Is there you know, things you like or things you dislike about the team travel?
Well, when we went to Montana, that was the first time I'd ever flown on an airplane in my life, and so that was a new experience. And I mean, you know, being on the basketball team, there's just so many wonderful opportunities. I had never been to California, and we went to Disneyland and the zoo out there. And I mean, you know, the basketball part, you know, that's the #1. But when we go on the trips, it's a lot of fun too, and it's great being with the team and the coaches.
What about your game at this point? Do you feel you have to adjust to bring it to the next level?
Definitely. I think I'm coming along, but my defense needs a little bit more work, and I'm going to have to learn to be more aggressive and, like I said, more intense. And I hope, you know, that as I get stronger and hit the weight room a little bit more, I'll be able to do that.
What about conditioning? Just the things you have to do every day, running up and down the floor and so forth. Has that been an adjustment?
Yeah, it was. You know, we conditioned quite a bit in high school and everything, but, you know, here you play a longer game, and so it requires a lot more. So.
You talked about hitting the weights harder. Have you done a lot of weight training? Are you going to have to make a major adjustment to hit them a lot harder, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, well, we never really lifted weights all that much in high school. There was, you know, not enough time, and of course we didn't have the same type of weight equipment that we do here at Drake. And yeah, we've been working with weights. Coach Flack, he's our conditioning and weight trainer. He's a really knowledgeable man about those types of things. He knows how to do it safely, and he's put us all on specific weight programs and everything. And so, I mean, he knows what to do to get me a little bit stronger.
Is it tough to weight lift? I would think that would really not be a lot of fun. How do you approach it mentally?
It's not a lot of fun, but when I do it, I sit there and I think, well, you know, just a couple more and maybe I'll get that other rebound, or, you know, maybe I'll be able to box out better. And so, I mean, you got to look at what it's going to do for you and not the pain that you're going through at the time.
Good attitude. Tell us about your family.
My dad is a farmer and my mom is a nurse, and we live on a farm south of Norway, Iowa, which is a real small town. And I have 2 sisters. One's a freshman at Cedar Rapids Jefferson right now, and the other's in 5th grade.
Are they players?
Yeah, they are. My youngest sister, she's playing for the Cedar Rapids Panther team and AAU team, and my Cindy, who is a freshman, she's on the varsity team.
Do your parents get to go to a lot of the home games?
Yes, they do. They make it a point to go to all 3 of ours, and so, I mean, that's really important. My parents never missed a game when I was in high school, and, you know, and that was also one of the things that I wanted to be about Drake. You know, it was close enough that my parents could come see me and play, and that was very important to me.
What about the adjustment in the classroom? Has that been a big jump for you from high school?
It's more demanding, and, you know, in high school, it didn't require as much time, but overall, no, I think, you know, it's just the time aspect.
Obviously, basketball is one of your serious hobbies. Do you have some others?
I like to shop, and I like to, you know, just spend time with my family and watch movies and hang around with friends.
Any particular movies stand out in your mind as your all-time favorites?
No, not really. Just kind of everything, yeah.
Whatever is currently out on the,
exactly.
on the scene.
Exactly.
Huh? And as you look down the road, the basketball team's off to an 0-4 start, but you've now sensed the league. You've seen 4 teams play, and you know your teammates. You look for better things ahead?
I sure do. You know, like the Creighton game, that was a close one, and I think we could have won that one, and as well as, you know, the Southern one, we had that one. And so I think that once we have to play them at home, I think things are going to be a little bit different. And I mean, I think that we're going to want it more now. And I mean, you know, everything's going to pick up here, and we'll be all right.
We certainly remember your performance last spring at Veterans Auditorium. What kind of an experience was that for you?
That was like a dream come true. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better thing to happen your senior year, to go undefeated. And I mean, that's just, I mean, you experience that, and you know that that's what you've always kind of wanted to, and it just makes you look more ahead to the college game.
Coach, I got to think Karen's got great potential.
She does, absolutely. You know, Karen has the most beautiful touch around the basketball hoop. She's a great offensive player, and I think Karen knows the things that she needs to work on really is defense. In high school, she played strictly a 2-3 zone, and here we play a lot of man-to-man, and so that's been a whole new learning experience for her. But she's been very patient and worked hard, and I really know that, you know, the future of Drake women's basketball revolves largely around Karen.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Karen Schulte has been our guest on this segment of the Lisa Bluder Show. The Bulldogs have 2 very important home games coming up. We'll talk about them right after this. Now home for 6 of the next 7. It's really an important stretch.
It really is. You know, it's great to come home, but then you have to come home and play Southwest Missouri State, the #1 team in our conference. So that makes it a little difficult. But we're anxious to be home. I tell you, our players are really geared up. And, you know, even though we're 7-7 at this point overall, this is a team that has never been out of a game except for one, the Montana game. And we could just as easily be 13-1 right now as we are 7-7.
Southwest Missouri State has an 8-4 record, and that is not like them, and they're not nationally ranked. Does that mean they're not as good?
Well, this is the first time in quite a few years I remember Southwest has not been nationally ranked. They started the season ranked in the nation, but it's very unusual. No, this is a great team still. They've lost, of their 4 losses, 3 of those losses have been against ranked teams, and the only unranked team was a 3-point loss on the road to Arkansas, which is a great rivalry, you know, between the 2 schools. So Southwest is just as strong as ever. Don't let them fool you by not being in the rankings, because they are.
And again, that game is Friday evening.
Friday evening, a little unusual. We usually play Thursday, Saturdays, but this week it's Friday, Sunday.
Okay, the Sunday game, Wichita State. Kind of an important game because the Shockers are one of those teams you probably will have to battle for an upper division finish.
That's right. Last year it was us and them at the end. We ended up 4th and they ended up 5th, and we had to play them. Luckily we were 4th, so we had the home court advantage, and that was really nice. And this year it could come down to a very similar situation, at least we're hoping so. The Shockers are playing very well, 10-4 overall in their season record, the best season record that they've had in a long time. Also, they played had a tournament at Wichita that hosted the University of Minnesota and Texas Tech and Western Illinois, and won that tournament. Texas Tech is the defending national champions. Wichita won that tournament.
That is frightening.
It really is. You know, Wichita's a team though that plays very, very well at home. And still lacks the experience to play well on the road, as a lot of us do. So hopefully, you know, we're really coming into that game very positive, and hope we'll get them at home.
Well, those are 2 very important home games. Now, there's another event coming up that we want to tell people about, because I get the chance to ask you questions every week, but this will be their turn.
That's right. We have a once-a-month fast break luncheon on Monday, February 24th. We'll be hosting January 24th. Next Monday, we'll be hosting our luncheon for this month. The Fast Break Luncheon, us as a coaching staff are there, but we also bring some of our student-athletes there. And so it gives you an opportunity to meet our student-athletes, ask them questions, as well as hear the inside scoop on the Drake women's basketball team. And that will be held next Monday at noon in the Olmsted Center on the Drake University campus. And we have a really nice buffet lunch served.
Now let's end this by maybe going back to the beginning, where we talked about at the start of the show, the key points, the things that you're going to have to do well to have a chance to win these 2 games this week.
Well, I think we're going to have to reduce our turnovers, and that's really important against Southwest Missouri State with their pressing style of defense. If you want to see a college women's basketball team play defense, this is the game to watch, because they are known nationally for their pressing and style of defense. They really create havoc bringing the ball up the floor. So we're going to have to break their press. We're going to have to control our turnovers to give us more opportunities to shoot the ball, because we're shooting the ball very well. And also we're going to have to keep the opponents off the boards. We cannot let them have 2nd and 3rd easy shots after we've played good defense.
Yeah, the Register of both game stories quoted you as saying, "We didn't block out."
Yeah, you know, and that's really a pet peeve of mine also. It's something that we strive and we work on so hard, and something we were doing so well at the beginning of the year, and it was winning us basketball games, and now we've kind of taken a little bit turn for the worse. Maybe I'm making them concentrate on it too much. Sometimes you just have to let it happen naturally. But we've watched some game film now. We spend about 2.5 hours Sunday watching game film. I think the girls realize they're not blocking out correctly, and they're tired of losing.
You say Julie Rickers is getting healthy. Is everybody else in pretty good shape?
Everybody else is in really good shape, and we're back in school. I think that's going to be to our advantage as well.
Well, and being home will be too, especially if you get a good crowd. So good luck to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Larry.
Don't miss them. Friday night, Southwest Missouri State, one of the great teams in the country. Sunday afternoon, Wichita State at the Knapp Center. We'll see you here next week.
Inside or out?
Planning the ideal family vacation is easy. Just call Eagle Waters Resort, the Northwoods vacation destination that has it all.